you have discovered through the expansion of the internet world. I am Johnny Allen, and this is the Johnny Allen 30-Minute Podcast. We're going to be talking about your life, my life, and the world today. So sit back, relax, grab something if you need it, and let's do this. And the podcast does start now. I'm your host, Johnny Allen. This is the Johnny Allen 30-Minute Podcast, where I talk about everyday life situations. I've been gone for a couple weeks because I went on a nice vacation. And originally I was going to, and I will in a future podcast, share the vacation. But with everything that's been going on in the last, since the last weekend, you guys know all about that with Israel and everything. I'm going to talk about some subjects that I've been thinking about for a long time, and probably some of them I've already talked about 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 times in the past on the podcast. Now, again, I'm just an average guy. I'm 59 years old, be 60 in February of next year. I've seen a lot in my lifetime, but I'm seeing a lot more now ramping up than I've ever seen before in the world stage. And I'd like to just share some of my thoughts and views and really bring awareness to people that, especially younger people that may catch on or catch my podcast today by chance or whatever. I got some words of urgency. And I'm not saying this to scare people, and I'm not saying this because I think I'm this great prophet or whatever. I'm not. I'm just an everyday guy that's looking at how life has changed and looking at what's going on. And I want to share some of these talking points today with you all and hope you get something out of it. You may agree with me. You may not agree with me. It doesn't really matter at this point. It is my opinion, and actually more than my opinion, it's my observation of what's been going on for the last 20, 30 years. I'm going to break it down 10 talking points. I just ask you if you just give me 30 minutes and just kind of really listen to what I got to say, have an open mind, and really think about what I'm about ready to discuss, because I think it's important. I feel like it's my spiritual and godly belief that I need to share this with the world. It's really just, we gotta look at these points and really think about it, because it's our last chance. And really, the topic of my podcast today is a world on the edge. A world on the edge. And really, it doesn't take a rocket science to figure that out. If you flip on the news, you see it. Well, first of all, let's get the coffee. I drink coffee, and let's take a swig to living halfway decent. If hopefully, if wherever you're at, you're doing okay. I'm drinking some coffee that I got from vacation, and I'll talk about that later. This is kind of a serious podcast today. Usually mine are not real serious. I just kind of talk about my frustrations, but this one's really serious. So we see what's going on in the world today. Anyway, to back up a little bit, get started here, guys. Just got back on a 2-week trip, visiting family in the southern United States, Florida, Georgia, whatnot. Like I said, I'll get into that later if you care to hear about that one. But I got back home last weekend and heard the news about Hamas attack on Israel. I talk about these things all the time, with Ukraine being attacked by Russia, all that. There's violence and upheaval all over the place, and it's been going on for thousands of years. I mean, it's nothing new. But what is changed in the last year, are these things I'm going to talk about. And I think and the things that we need to be aware of. And we need to change our thinking. And for young people that are on the other side of where I'm going, I just say keep an open mind, and really think about and educate yourself. So let's go down the list of things that we need to do to make humanity better. And what's kind of scary about what's going on now is it is a world living we're on the edge, and on the edge of destruction if we don't change it. So number one topic is that with the agenda and what's going on today, is the woke movement. Okay, you guys heard about that. Okay, and what's scary about that is it all comes down, all these topics I'm talking about, all comes down to mind control and brainwashing and losing your freedom as a human being and being taken over as a human being. It being slowly brainwashed by the powers that be, a handful of these folks that are doing all this stuff, is brainwashing, especially the youth, because that's where you want to start, and people in general. They're causing divides between people. They're causing infighting amongst people. You see it going on over in Israel right now. Fighting going on. It's purposely done. It's purposely set up. And we need to be aware of it. And don't fall into the trap. Because I see so many young people falling into this brainwashing trap. The woke thing is one of it. And some people going, what are you talking about, John? What's one? Okay. First of all, a lot of the woke stuff is it's all politically driven. It's not all factual. And I'm not going to get into the details of all these subjects. I'm just going to lay them out basic. You do your own research on it. You come to your own decision, your own conclusion, and your thoughts on these agendas and topics. But the woke agenda is not good. It is splitting people up. And I know when the George Floyd thing happened was terrible back in 2020, and the BLM movement went crazy. And we found out, and do your research, it's not just me, it's factual. You found out about the BLM movement and what that's really all about and what they really represent. And when it first came across, it was innocent enough in stating that, hey, Black Lives Matter, and you get it. And your average person that doesn't know much about it's like, yeah, I'm gonna jump on this movement because Black lives do matter, And but it ended up being totally, pardon my language, ass backwards. It's not what they portrayed it to be at the beginning. So just do your research on that. Be careful about all these organizations like that one. All these organizations. Really do your research. Find out what's going on. Be an independent thinker. Like I said so many times before, young people especially jump on bandwagons. We all do, but the youngers really do. Jumping on these bandwagons. Please do not jump on a bandwagon unless you really know what it's all about. And I live in the United States of America. I live in America. We're not perfect, but we are the last free society, basically. That's the biggest free society in the world. And they want to tear this country down because they want to take over the planet. Okay, for their agenda. They want total control of everybody. And people think, well, yeah, we're free and it's great. And that's why we protest. And that's why we bitch about this and we bitch about that. And that's why we put away our flags because we're for this group or we're for that group. You know what? That's all going to go away if you all don't be careful. And it is true. And I'm not just making it up. The LGBTQ, XYZ, whatever they call themselves now, community, is going to cave and fall. And if the communist rule comes to take over America and the rest of the world, the handful of these elitists or whoever they are that are pushing these agendas. So in other words, you got Hamas fighting Israel right now without being too political, and there's a lot of people jumping on the Palestine movement and Hamas and saying that, Israel's the bad guy and they're the good guy, and I'm not going to get in the middle of that. You make your own decisions, but make sure you get your facts straight before you jump on somebody that's going in and killing people, and I don't care who it is, going in and killing people, innocent people, starting it and doing the awful things that they're doing. And I even saw today on Fox where this young gal in the protest today, because this is Friday the 13th, by the way, October 13th. And so anyway, This is supposed to be the day that, everything hits the fan, and so far not, since I'm doing this, but I don't know what's going to happen. Only the Lord knows. But people that are jumping on this bandwagon, and anyway, I heard this young gal on the news today, one of the protests in New York, saying that that the babies that were being killed and all that was all fake. And he interviewed one young guy, says, "Oh, I didn't know that Hamas was doing this stuff." So I'm just saying, young people, be careful where you're going. When you're going out there and going, hey, make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you really know what you're doing. And, before I go any further, I love all people. And this is why I'm doing this. I love human beings. I hate to see this happening to any human being in the world. This destruction, these wars, this mixed up agendas, this craziness, this wackiness, this getting out of tune with nature, getting out of tune with what's supposed to be, just totally perverting everything. I'm going to keep going down the list. That's why we're in trouble. And that's why that's why I'm putting this out there, guys, because I want you guys just to have an open mind and really think about it, because we don't want to destroy humanity. And all this stuff is feeding into destroying humanity, the protest, this, that. That's what they want you to do. That's exactly what they want you to do. And you guys are doing it. You're falling right into it. Just like a fisherman out there fishing, you're taking the bait. You're the fish that's taking the hook and taking the bait. You got to be really careful. So the woke agendas and things like that, you guys really, really need to look into this carefully before you start jumping on these bandwagons. Because in the end, you're going to destroy yourselves. For example, if you're a gay person, okay, fine, whatever. If you're a trans person, fine, whatever. Okay? But if you're going to support like a Hamas or China or Russia or any of these communist parties, guess what? They take over the United States of America. Over in these countries, they kill people that are homosexual. Just for the record. You guys need to figure this out. You see where I'm going. You want your freedoms, and that's fine. You want your individuality, that's fine. But you need to keep it all in check. Really do. Keep it all in check. And the woke agenda, guys, there's nothing wrong. And by the way, young people are trying to figure out who they are. There's nothing wrong with being normal. Quote unquote nothing. There's nothing wrong with it. Be proud of being normal. I was born a white man, obviously. I'm straight. Obviously, and I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else. I'm not. But I'm just saying I'm happy with who I am. I'm happy with the way I was born. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Okay, so with this agenda, woke agendas and all these anti-American agendas, anti-freedom agendas, all this stuff, all leads to one thing. It's called unrest. Unrest is not good. Unrest causes wars. It causes uprising. It causes kids to get killed, innocent people to get killed, all over. Because there's innocent Palestinians right now that are getting bombed on because of a few bad actors going in and killing some people in the party. You see where I'm going with this? One thing leads to another. So we need to be careful not to do anything that's going to light the wick and cause the dynamite to blow, right? We need to be careful with that. So it's causing the unrest, right? And it's causing wars. The Ukraine war with Russia. There's many others that are going on. We don't even think about these little bitty wars going on, right? So I just read the other day, too, and saw where all of a sudden, the mental health thing has exploded since COVID. They're having a hard time with mental health. Young kids and people in general are going crazy. Well, you wonder why. I told my wife this other day, you wonder why people are having problems. Because they're being force-fed all this stuff. It's not okay that you're born a boy. It's not okay that you're born a girl. You need to think about really what you really are. It's not okay that you're white, or it's okay that you're black, or it's okay that you're Hispanic, or it's okay that you're whatever. They're always throwing these things in the barrel to try to, mess you up and mess young kids up. And no wonder they're having mental health problems, because you're confusing people. Stop it. You're confusing people. Quit confusing people. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with being normal. There really isn't. Is there something out there that says it's against the law or against the rule of nature to not to be normal? Sometimes we're stupid, more stupid, if that's even a word. We have less intelligence than a bird. Just think about that one. So the mental health is on the rise because of all the wars, all the protests, the chaos, this is my land, this is my blah, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. We can't share. I'm talking about as in the world. We can't share. We can't share stuff. We can't share lands without somebody getting pissed off. We can't share religions without somebody getting pissed off. The whole thing's just really irritating. That's what we got to fix. That's why there's wars. That's why there's unrest. That's why there's mental health problems. And you wonder why this is all going on. So I'm continuing down the list. Throwing faith out, okay, for one, okay, our country was raised on Christianity, and if you're not a Christian, whatever. But, here's the thing. We were raised on morals and standards, pretty much. Were we perfect? No. Are we ever going to be perfect? Were we perfect? Are we ever going to be perfect? No. But this is getting way out of line, and I'll continue down the list, and you'll see why. Okay, so we're throwing faith out the window. We know no one cares about, no one cares about this. Okay? No one cares about this. And I'm not a preacher, and I'm not a saint. And I've said that before. But I do heed the words that are in here, and this isn't fictional, okay? And I'll get to it in a minute, a little bit. Okay, so that's this is a fantasy book, and it's not important, and whatever, and blah blah blah. What's important is fantasy football, and that a drag queen is voted Woman of the Year, and and protesting for a cause that may not be so great. Those are the things that are important, right? It's not getting back to basics and heeding and listening and reading and maybe educating yourself on what's in here. Not saying that this is everything, but I'll get to it. It's a lot. I'm ranting a little bit today because I'm really passionate about what's going on in the world. I got kids and grandkids. I want them to grow up like with every child in the world. I want them to grow up with a nice planet to live on. I don't want some dictating a-hole out there ruining everything for these young children. And it's all about the kids. These wars, what's going on and everything, it's all about the kids. And these young adults that are pushing agendas are making it worse for the kids, for the children. There's human trafficking going on. I'm going to go down the list. And it's just like literally torturing kids. So you're throwing faith out now, and you're throwing faith out. With faith, you're throwing Christ out because, that's fantasy, right? But your fantasy football and your movies, your Hollywood movies, that's important. Marvel, all this stuff that's going on out in Hollywood, the Kardashians, whatever. I don't know. I don't even keep up with that junk anymore. That's what's really important. I'm just glad some people are watching The Chosen. I don't know. And, with that being said, that people make excuses. People are making excuses for being perverts. That's all I'm going to say. People make excuses for being, well, it's okay. I've heard this before from loving people that I really care about. But it's disturbing, and I've heard it from more than one. That, I kind of believe in God. This is what they say. I kind of believe in God. And what I know of God is that he's a loving God, and he loves everything, loves everyone, and he doesn't judge, and he loves whatever you want to do. Kumbaya, it's good. It's all good. You can do whatever you want to do. You can sleep with whoever you want. You can do whatever you want. You can have divorces and family. Now, I had a divorce, and I'm not proud of it, but it happened. Okay, but there's too much of it going on. And, and like I said, I'm not a saint. I'm just saying, I'm bringing up examples of what's wrong with the whole society. Okay. And, it's making excuses for like, oh, it's all good. Because a loving God doesn't care what you do. And, you're not going to get punished. You can do whatever you want. You can murder kids under God, the word of God, I mean, the Hamas, if you read the Quran, that's what they believe. You could kill the infidel. It doesn't matter. Kids or whatever. And that reminds me of this. That was stuff that was happening thousands of years ago. We're supposed to be mature society now. We're supposed to be, this is 2023. We're supposed to be, sophisticated, right? We're supposed to be above all that. We're not barbaric anymore. We're civilized. Everybody loves everybody. Everything's cool. Everything goes. It doesn't matter. No, we're more barbaric today than we were 1,000 years ago. They're still doing that stuff over Israel and over there. What's going on over there? What's going on in Ukraine and other places in Africa and other places all over the whole damn world and even here in the United States of America. And guess what? We're more barbaric than we were 1,000 years ago. And you know what? I'm going to say this too. And it's even worse now because everything is instant on social media like this. Everybody, everybody knows everything instantly. They all blow up and they jump on these bandwagons. They go protesting in New York, Chicago, and all these places in the United States of America. And they fly flags that are other countries' flags, but they're living here in the United States of America. Fly our damn flag. Yeah, that's right. I'm a little pissed off. It's true. It's true. You're going to live in the United States of America. Honor the place you're living in. Don't come in and try to destroy what was once a peaceful country until 2020, and everybody decided they were going to burn down the cities. Okay? Because of one bad cop? Think about that one. So you destroy cities because of one bad cop? It's wrong. It's what I'm getting to today on all this stuff, guys. Come on. Why would you have a man trying to be a woman be voted Woman of the Year? It's just, you see what I'm saying? Just think about that for a minute. That's what I mean, that the world is on the edge. That's what I'm getting at today. All right? So when you make excuses for like everything's okay because we have a loving God and he understands everything, you're just opening the doors to say it's okay. That's all you're doing. You're making excuses to say everything's okay. That's it. You're trying to just justify your actions. That's it. And you can argue with me about that all you want all day long, but it's true. Everybody knows deep down inside what's wrong and what's right. And if you're doing wrong, and you know it, you're just trying to justify it. That's like a kid that gets caught. We tell them, hey, don't drink too many Cokes or drink, all this because too much sugar is going to get bad. It's going to be bad for you, And the kid just drinks them anyway, and he just justifies it. Well, it's okay for me to drink this one because, I was going to cut down to 3 Cokes a day, but I only drink 2 today. But it's okay because it's justified because I'm only drinking. You know what I mean? That's just a kind of a poor example, but true. Okay, it leads me to the next topic and point, which leads to why this world's on the edge. It's on the edge of breaking right now. Is AI control. I'm seeing commercials now on the dang TV that says, oh, yeah, they even make fun of Allen Iverson's even one of these commercials, talking about, oh, AI does this all for me. AI does this all for me. AI does this all for me. You know what? It's going to make us mindless. We won't have to think for ourselves because AI is going to think for you, okay? So we're going to we're dumbing down society. We're just dumbing it down. It leads to one thing, and this whole thing leads to one thing. It's self-control. It's taking control of yourself. It's going to be a total breakdown of society. I'm circling off my notes. Because with everything I've discussed here, between the societal breakdown with wokeness and all these agendas that are fake and on a false narrative, you know who they are. With no faith, no Christ, everything goes. We can justify it. AI is controlling things. We got the mental health crisis going on out there. I just started this total breakdown. And the thing is, people make fun and mock the Holy Bible, okay? You can think whatever you want about it. But if you read in there, and I won't get into the details because I don't have time, but if you get into the details, you read some of what's going on, and you understand it properly, you're going to see And even I had doubts about this book several years ago that everything in it, well, is it really all true? Well, I'm going to tell you something. The more I go into that, you can see things unraveling and unfolding right now before our eyes. What's going on? What's written in that Bible, folks? I mean, the people a long time ago knew what they were talking about. They can read the future, man, whether you believe it or not. Now, you may say, oh, no, I don't believe that. But you believe fantasy football, man. You believe, these fictional stories, Harry Potter, whatever. I don't know. You guys believe all that stuff? Okay, leads me to number 9, guys. Okay, environmental breakdown. We got all these problems with mental health, AI, everything I've just mentioned. And on top of that, we're not taking care of the environment either. We don't take care of the environment. There's so many false narratives about the environment here or there. I'm not going to get in all the details, but I know one thing. We've had some drought-type conditions this year, big time. The weather is changing. There's more in the disease. Okay, there. Let's loop disease into it. Diseases are ramping up because the environment, we're not taking care of the environment. We're polluting. We're putting radiation in the air. We're doing all these stupid, wacky, dumb things. And that's causing diseases to go up. We're manipulating viruses in the lab. That was conspiracy theory back when the COVID came out, but it's not. I knew it all along that it was manipulated in the lab. And God knows what they're doing now, So we're doing all these things that are breaking down society, that are breaking down humanity. That's really what I'm getting at with this podcast today, guys. We are falling into these traps, and we're self-destructing. I mean, I hate to sound doom and gloom, but that's what it is. But I do have an answer at the end of this. And I'm going to really just sum it up by this. All these bad things are happening, and we know, and I just kind of touch base on some of these bad things that are happening. We need to rewind the clock, and we need to rethink things, and we need to get back to the good old days, if there was such a thing, or make them even better than the good old days, so to speak. We need to come together as people. We need to stop the violence all the way around. We need to just stop it. Hamas knew when they went into Israel and did that they were going to hit a hornet's nest, and they have. And whether it was done purposely or not, I don't know. I'm not going to get all that. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no clue. I don't live over there. I'm not tied with either one of these. I don't know much about these two organizations. I just know what happens. Okay, I can see what happens. And anyway, whenever you got a bully or a punk or someone, no matter who it is, starts to fight, punches, the other person's going to punch back, and they're going to punch harder, and you got a big fight. And that's basically what's going on. And the thing that really disturbs me, and the reason why I'm even doing this podcast today, is we are, in the end result, it's affecting and killing and destroying children. That's it. Okay? That's it. And kids are innocent. Adults can make decisions on their own. But the decision that the adults make destroy the children. Think about that one. The decisions that the adults are making are destroying the children. And that's wrong. Lastly, guys, I'm just going to end it up, this podcast, with this. This book is not fiction. You may look at it as fiction. I suggest that you get in there and start reading it, because basically what's happening right now, we're getting into the times of Noah. And I'm not talking about the cartoon character, where he builds an ark and, gets all the animals and they're floating around and there's a lot of rain, and then the rain goes away and they land on an island and, the animals are free and all that stuff. I'm not talking about that. When I say that we're in the times of Noah, I'm talking about when Noah built that big ark, okay? And then when the rain and the flood started coming and destroying, God was destroying the earth. All these people at the last minute knocking on the door of the ark, went in and screaming and yelling and everything. That really did happen, people. There's proof that there was a worldwide flood, okay? At least, if you want to believe that. So, the terror will be worse than ever that's going on even right now. It's coming. So you need to be prepared. That's all I got to say. I'm not a preacher. I'm not telling you what to do. This is a suggestion. Keep an open mind. Keep an open mind. Because you don't want to be one of those people, so to speak, knocking on the ark and trying to get on board and try to be saved when the world comes tumbling down, because the world is on the edge right now of destruction. I mean, it really is. I've never seen it before. I didn't think I'd see it in this lifetime. Don't listen to false teachings and false narratives and agendas, guys. Get your facts. Get your facts from good sources. And unfortunately, colleges these days, even professors, you think they would know what they're talking about? They know what they're talking about, but they're setting an agenda. So go bypass those guys because they don't know what they're talking about. They're just trying to feed you information. They're falling into that world dominance, that shadow government. They're all part of that. They're buying into that, feeding into that false agenda, the one world agenda. You guys can look into that. If you're going to college, that's great, but really don't jump on the bandwagons. Get your facts elsewhere. Search other places to get your facts about history, about what's going on now. I mean, really educate yourself. It's a shame you can't depend on the professors and stuff in college. I went to college a long time ago, and you pay big money for these so-called, quote, professionals to teach you the right things, and they teach you the wrong things, basically, in layman's terms. So get your facts from the right places, if you don't, I think you're going to regret it. If you don't get your facts and educate yourself, people, on what's really going on in the world, you're going to regret it. That's all I got to say about it. I'm just this humble guy. I'm a nobody. You guys don't know who I am. I'm just an average guy. But I have a passion. And I care about my fellow human beings. And I really care about the young. Like I said, I'm a grandfather. I care about how they're being raised, how they're being taught, the world that they're being exposed to. I grew up in the 70s and 80s. We didn't have that much scariness. We had a little bit, but not like it is today, guys. Today, because we didn't have the social media, instantly, somebody sees something on the cell phone, they blow up, they jump on the bandwagon, they get all mad. And, really, there shouldn't be any protesting going on at all, really, right now, especially pro-Hamas shouldn't be going on right now. What really should be going on is the protesting that should be going on and the awareness should be going on is just peace, period, peace. It shouldn't be, we want to destroy this person, or we want to destroy that land, or we want to destroy that land. We shouldn't take teams, okay? There shouldn't be teams. It should be peace all the way around. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say about it, guys. I'm going to end it in that. I'm going to end this podcast in this. There's got to be peace in the world. We got to stop the perversion. We got to stop drug trafficking. Got to stop drugs. We got to be wholesome. We got to be clean. We got to live proper. We got to be able to identify with who you are, with what you were born with. We got to stop wars. We got to do it. If we don't do it, we're going to regret it. We're going to fall and crumble. You'll lose all of your rights. You'll lose all your freedoms, and all the things that you think are fun now will be gone. Okay? And some of it may not be so bad to be gone, really, to be honest with you, but honestly, we don't want killing and destruction, right? I mean, I know it sounds pretty obvious, but it's got to start somewhere. And it's got to start with people protesting and holding signs up for the right causes and not the wrong causes. And the right cause, if I was to hold a sign up, it'd be like, peace in the world, period. Love Jesus. You guys might think I'm, out there, but no, it's true. If you look at everything that Jesus taught, he taught all love. It wasn't anything bad. There was discipline, though. There was discipline. You don't want to pervert things that nature has created for us, right? I mean, just these thoughts. That's all I got today. God willing, I'll be back next week. I will post a lighter podcast about my vacation. That's what I was going to do today, and I'll do that later. But with this Israel war going on over there, It's really a shame. I feel sorry for the people in Gaza. I do. I feel sorry for the innocent people in Gaza that probably didn't want to attack, the Palestinian people. This is to them that didn't want to attack Israelis, that didn't have anything to do with that. God bless you, and I feel sorry for you. And my prayers are with you. Because you had a few bad actors, and that's the way it is everywhere. Even the Russian people. You have few bad actors that make the whole thing look bad. And we don't need to feed into either. We don't need to feed into that. Support one thing that's good. Don't support the bad. Don't support ugly. That's it. No matter where the ugly comes from, don't support that. Don't support ugly. Everybody in the end of the thing, and I've said this before in previous podcasts, at the end of the day, all people want is peace. They just want enough money to have a good meal, be able to barbecue or cook whatever they like to eat on the grill, worship whatever God they want to worship in peace. If they worship, they don't want agendas forced down them. Okay, they don't want any. We just want freedom. That's it. The whole world wants nothing but freedom. We don't want these bad actors telling us how to live, who to live with, who to sleep with, who to have sex with, whatever, what to eat, how to cook, what to drive, be fearful that our house is going to get, blown up, or be fearful that we go to a music concert and some group comes in and starts murdering everybody. We just don't want that in the world. We just don't want that in the world. All people want is peace in the world. That's it. Be left alone. If you get along, fine. If you don't, fine, but be left alone. Just live and let live. Don't be pushing these agendas down people's throats, people. It's a lot of people, but it's true. I get aggravated. Maybe someone watching this thing, my 4 or 5 people that watch this podcast, whatever. I hope you get something out of it. What I just said for the last, 30-some minutes. I feel real passionate about it. And at the end of the day, it comes down to the kids. It comes down to the kids. And let's don't live like we did 2,000 years ago. Those times, we're supposed to be more mature than that, right? We got these sophisticated equipment. I'm about ready to wrap it up. Cell phones, computers, whatever. We're supposed to be sophisticated. So why are we going out killing kids and killing innocent women and murdering? And it's not just Hamas. It's other organizations all over the world. All over the world. It's cartels. It's Russian mobs. It's people in the United States. It's serial killers in the United States. It's everywhere. The evil is everywhere. And that's the whole thing with my podcast. We got to rid the evil. We've got to take a time out and say, listen, this is getting carried away. We need to rewind, start over again. It's going to happen whether we want to do it or not. God will eventually, you guys can laugh or whatever, but heed my words, God will eventually rewind this clock. The days of Noah are coming. It's going to be gone, and it's going to reset. Just be prepared when it does. That's all I got today, guys. God love you. Hopefully I'll see you again next week. You have discovered, through the expansion of the internet world, I am Johnny Allen, and this is the Johnny Allen 30-Minute Podcast.